Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for today's video. It is going to be my 2022 makeup inventory, obviously for the beginning of 2022. I love doing my makeup inventories every single year because it's just such a good eye-opener about like where my makeup collection sits. Sometimes it's a little bit scary to sit down and look at the actual numbers, but I always get really excited to do this. So I'm very excited to share my updated numbers with you guys today. I know in June I had given myself a bunch of goals in terms of my makeup inventory, but then life got super chaotic at the end of 2021. So I'm kind of like piecing back the puzzle of all of like my organization, and I feel like I've lost makeup products and found makeup products, and it's all just like a jumbled mess at the end of 2021. I feel like I'm just gonna leave the entire year of 2021 like back in the past in 2021, and I'm very excited to move forward in 2022, get my life back on track, get organized, etc. So I'm excited to be sharing this with you today. I will post pictures as I chat through my inventory and my collection in each category, and I am doing my best to update my Excel spreadsheet, so hopefully it'll be even more organized and up to date for my next makeup inventory. There were a few categories today that I just like counted rather than updated my Excel sheet, blah, blah, blah. I'm rambling at this point. Anyway, if you guys are interested in seeing where my makeup inventory numbers sit or lie or whatever, can you guys tell I haven't filmed in a while? I'm like super rusty and just getting back into the swing of things. But if you guys are interested in seeing where my makeup inventory lies, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project planning content, or you just like to chit chat about makeup, I would love if you'd consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. All right, you guys, throughout the course of this video on either side of me, I will try and post a picture of whatever category that I'm talking about. There were a few categories that I took my picture and then I found another product here and there. So, excuse me. My numbers might not exactly match the numbers in the picture. One day I'll have like the most perfect makeup inventory video where everything matches, but today is not the day for that. And then over on the other side, I will post like where my collection was at the beginning of 2021, mid-year update last year, and then where we sit today. And at the end of this video, I'll give myself a few goals. I am gonna be doing quarterly makeup inventory check-ins, just because I feel like that's gonna keep me accountable. I just kicked off and refreshed my, it might be coming after this, but it would be like the next video after this video, my makeup rehab series for the year of 2022. So I'm very excited about that as well. If you guys like just low buy or like makeup spending challenges, keep an eye out for that video. I'll also link last year's makeup rehab in case you're interested in checking that out. But I'm rambling again. So let's get into the actual numbers. I believe at the June check-in, I gave myself a goal of being lower, like having lower numbers. I want to say I maybe said 10 in 10 categories, maybe 10 categories, maybe I said 5. I have lower numbers in 6 categories today. So in 6 of the categories that I have to share, my makeup inventory numbers decreased, which is a little bit of a bummer, but also towards the end of 2021, I really was not wearing makeup all that much. So we're gonna get back into doing my makeup more often and hopefully have a ton of empties to share with you in the upcoming months / all of 2022. So let's kick it off with the primer category. At the beginning of last year, I had 16 primers in my collection. Primer was a category at that point in time, at the beginning of last year. I was super into trying new primers, etc. And then I really kind of just like fell out of that. I still use a primer every time I do my makeup, but I wasn't as excited to be trying new primers in 2021. So at the June update, I was down to 12 primers. And now I am somehow back up to 17 primers. And I will say towards the end of last year, I purchased a couple of these Sephora favorite sets, which came with primers. And then I also got a couple of primers sent in like separate PR packages. I don't feel like I purchased any primers that would have like made this number increase by 5, but we are currently at 17 primers. I do have a couple primers currently going throughout various projects. I'll also have all of my projects linked down below in case you guys are interested in seeing what products I'm currently working on throughout my project pans. But my primer category did go up. And then I also just thought it would be fun to share how many primers I used or how many makeup products I used within each category, so we could kind of gauge like in terms of how many products I use versus how many products I have, where like are we at a good balance there? So last year I used up 12 primers. So using up 12 primers last year and having 17 currently in my collection doesn't scare me too much. I just don't need to buy any new primers in the near future. I also have a couple of mini primers and a couple of primers that are pretty close to being done. Specifically, the Tula one is one that I have in mind. And I know that is one I will repurchase when I finish that, at least come spring, summer, because that's when I really enjoy that time of year. But there's a couple other primers that I'm currently working on, and hopefully next update, my primer collection / category will be lower. For the foundation category, this one was a bit of a doozy this year. So I started the year with 25 foundations. At the June update, I had 28 foundations, 13 of those being tinted moisturizers or low coverage foundations, and 15 of those being just like your standard foundation, if you will. Now I'm currently at 30 foundations, 14 of those being tinted moisturizers and 16 of those being like regular standard foundations, if you will. I have way too many foundations, especially because last year I only used up 6 foundations. I do have quite a few right now, I feel like, that are kind of on their last leg that I'm going to be finishing up. Like, I feel like I have 3 in my collection right now that I could finish up pretty quickly. But still, this category, I feel like there's possibly some room to declutter. I'm considering doing a declutter, and I don't know if I want to film like separate categories where I go through everything and declutter. I don't know that I would be decluttering enough, or if I just want to do like a whole collection declutter. I'm not sure yet. You guys should let me know what you'd be interested in seeing. But my foundation category, I feel like, is a little bit out of control. For concealer, this is one where, like, when I look at my concealers in my little makeup drawer, I feel like I don't have that many concealers. But at the beginning of last year, I had 15 concealers. In June, I had 13 concealers, and now I have 14 concealers. So I have gone up by 1, and I used 2 concealers last year. I also feel like I have a couple of concealers that I could finish up pretty quickly in this new year, but I already know I for sure want to repurchase the Kosas Revealer Concealer and the Oma Beauty Stay Woke Concealer. And I really kind of want to hone in on my concealer category and really lower this and really stick to my favorites. Concealer is not like a makeup product that I get super excited about, and I feel like I could really just stick to my Kosas and the Oma Beauty and really be happy. The Oma Beauty is a little bit more full coverage. The Kosas can really go either way. And then aside from those two, leave a little bit of space to test 1 or 2 here and there. But I have way too many concealers, and this is a category that when you guys see my makeup rehab, you'll see that I really want to focus on decreasing this number throughout this year. For my powder category, I was surprised that this one went up as well. In January, we had 9 powders in my collection. Then in June, I had 10, and now I have 11. I used up 3 powders last year. There were a couple of AOA powders that I think I had in June, but like forgot to count. Because I was like surprised that my number had gone up, because I thought I had used up at least 1, if not 2 of those powders after June, and I didn't remember purchasing any new powders. I am currently working on 1 powder in a project pan, and there's a couple other powders that I'm like unofficially trying to pan in my head. This is a category like I'm comfortable with where I'm at. I do feel like I've gotten more into powders over the course of the last year. And would be interested in testing out potentially a few more here and there, but kind of want to keep my eyes on the prize in this category and make sure we don't get too out of control. So that's kind of where I'm at there. For my setting spray category, this is a category that never really causes me too much concern. In January of last year, I had 7 sprays. In June, I had 7 sprays, and I now have 8 sprays. So I did go up by 1, but I also used up 12 setting sprays last year. So I have less sprays in my collection than I used last year. So that's a win for me in my books. And again, this category just doesn't really concern me. I feel like I have my staples that I always have in my collection, and then I have space for a few here and there to try. But I've never felt like this category is one that's out of control in my collection, so I'm happy with where we sit there. Up next, we have the bronzer category, and this is a category that's always out of control for me, but I just absolutely love bronzers. So in January of last year, we had 24 bronzers. In June, we were at 32 bronzers, 11 of those being cream, 21 of those being powder. Now I have 30 bronzers in my collection, so I have decreased by 2. Cream did go up by 1, so I have 12 cream bronzers currently in my collection, but powder went down by 3, and I currently have 18 powder bronzers in my collection. I used up 0 bronzer last year. So this is another category. I always know in like May, I get super excited about bronzer and buy like 5 or 6 bronzers in the month of May. It just happens every single year. So I want to make sure I'm focused on my bronzer collection, rotating through it and really trying to hit pan on some bronzers from now until like the springtime, when I know I'm gonna go bronzer crazy. Or maybe I'll just reel it in this year and get my act together. But this is the first category that we've discussed that I actually did go down in my makeup inventory numbers. I forgot to mention at the beginning of this video, I don't know how to turn like my fan off. Like I tried to turn my heat off in my apartment and I just like literally cannot figure out how to get this like fan to turn off. So I know that there's like noise in the background and I'm working on figuring that out, and now there's like banging going on outside. So if there's like background noise, I apologize, you guys. Yeah. Okay, for the blush category, wow, blush is out of control. And I don't know what to do about it because I just still want to buy all of the blushes. So in January of last year, I had 62 blushes. In June, I had 69 blushes, 30 of those being cream and 39 of those being powder. And now we've gone up by 3 more blushes, which I actually was surprised it was only 3. I was expecting it to be more. So I have 72 blushes currently in my collection, which is just absolutely ridiculous. 32 of those are cream and 40 of those are powder. I need to do some blush decluttering and also stop buying blush, but I literally just cannot get myself to stop. Somebody help me. For the highlight category, this is another category. This is our second category that we actually decrease in our inventory numbers. So in January, I had 49 highlighters. In June, I had 49 highlighters, 7 of those being cream and 42 of those being powder. Now I have 47 highlighters, 11 of those are cream and 36 of those are powder. So I went up in terms of liquid highlights, but I also went down in terms of powder highlighters. Oof, highlight, I don't know. It's not a category that really had me excited last year. And I would really maybe, I didn't include it in my first update for my makeup rehab, but maybe when I do, well, sorry for my introduction, but maybe when I do my first update for my makeup rehab, I'll add some sort of like cap I want for highlighters for 2022, because I feel like I have plenty of highlights in my collection, and maybe 2022 is the year like we focus on getting some highlighters out of my collection. But nevertheless, I did decrease by 2 highlighters, and I did use up 1 highlighter last year, and that's it. I also forgot to mention I used up 3 blushes last year. I believe 2 powders and 1, and they were both powder minis, 2 powders and 1 cream. For the brow category, in January, I had 12 brow products. In June, I had 8 brow products, and this is another category where I have decreased, and I now have 7 brow products, and I actually used up 7 brow products last year. Typically, brows is something where I will have like a fiber brow gel, a brow glue, and then I'll do like powder on my brows, but I really was having fun getting into like brow pencils again last year, and I think I'm going to try and continue that again in 2022. I only have, I think, 1 or 2 brow pencils currently in my collection, so I would be interested in your guys' recommendation for brows. I'm not super concerned about 7 brow products being currently in my collection. Moving on to the eye primer category. Last year I had 4 eye primers when we started the year. At the mid-year update, I had 4 eyeshadow primers, and I am currently at 4 eyeshadow primers. So I did use up 1 eyeshadow primer last year, but I brought in the Milk Hydro Grip, which I counted under eyeshadow primers. I'm not a huge fan of the Milk Hydro Grip concealer slash eyeshadow primer. I don't think it's good. So I would like to use that up this year. This is a category where I would be happy, honestly, just having 2 in my collection, having like a glitter glue and then having like a standard just eyeshadow primer. I'm currently working on panning one, unofficially trying to pan another. This is not a category that really causes me much concern. For my eyeshadow singles, in January I had 135 eyeshadow singles. In June I had my collection down to 122, and now I am at 115. And I'm really proud of this because, well, I have decluttered some of those products, but I also have depotted some of the palettes that I just no longer wanted in my collection but was keeping around for like a shade or two. So I've added shades to my eyeshadow single collection in that aspect, but I've also decluttered some eyeshadow singles as well. So this is the fourth category that we have decreased in our makeup inventory numbers. For my liquid and cream eyeshadows, I had just counted these all as one in June. For some reason, I don't have January numbers for this, but in June I had 8 liquid/cream eye products. Now I have 11 cream eyeshadows and 2 liquid shadows, putting me at a total of 13, meaning this category has gone up by 5. And I believe the majority of this is either me miscounting in the past, or I did get a couple of like eyeshadow crayon type of products, like cream products in like a subscription box towards the end of the year, or like an advent calendar that I got in December. So that's why this number has gone up. I could see myself doing some decluttering here, but that is where it stands right now. And then last year I did use up one liquid eyeshadow, and that's really it. So this is a category that doesn't necessarily concern me, but also like I don't really want to see this one grow much more than where it's at right now, just because it's not a product category that I use frequently, or just not like one that I'm interested in. Yeah, I just don't use these types of products all that often. For eyeshadow palettes, I started January with 123 eyeshadow palettes, and I went eyeshadow palette crazy last year. So in June I was at 142 eyeshadow palettes, and right now I have 153. I do count my eyeshadow quads in this category, but still 153 is a lot. You'll find in my makeup rehab series that I am trying to at least rein it in a little bit in this category. Still leaving a lot of room to bring in new eyeshadows into my collection, but also trying to give myself limits, because last year I didn't give myself any limits and I needed to. So that's where we're at. We increased the palette category by 11, which actually, like considering this, is not that bad. I would have expected it to be worse, but we could definitely do some work here. For liquid lipsticks, this is another category that we have decreased in. So in January, I had 47 liquid lipsticks. In June, I was down to 45, and now I am at 42 liquid lipsticks. This is still way too many liquid lipsticks, especially like just considering how infrequently I use liquid lipsticks. I could stand to do some decluttering here, but a lot of these are like my dose of colors, and I just love them so much even though I never wear them. So I gotta figure out what I want to do here. Nevertheless, we did decrease this inventory, or this category, by 3, and I did use up 2 liquid lipsticks last year. I currently am working on panning a mini liquid lipstick, and then I also am really close on another one that's not in a project pan, but I'm super close on it. So I feel like we could make some more progress in this category pretty soon, or pretty early this year as well. For my lip gloss category, this category was a doozy. We started last year with 87 lip glosses. In June, I was down to 69 lip glosses, which I was taking that as a win. Like, I felt pretty good about that. And then now I'm at 73. So I did go up by 4, but I will say I got, I think like 8 of the Clarins lip oils in PR, which I count in my lip gloss category. And then I also purchased quite a few just lip glosses, or got some lip products in the Sephora VIB sale. So I actually wasn't too mad. I mean, 73 is still an insane amount of lip gloss to have in a person's collection, but I did use up 30 lip oils / lip glosses last year, which I was actually super impressed with and very proud of. So if I can just keep keeping things on my lips all year this year, I feel like we could make some good progress here as well. Many of those were mini lip glosses, and I still have quite a few mini lip glosses in my collection. I did not finish up 30 full-size lip glosses, but I need to not buy gloss, but it's very hard because I love gloss. For the lipstick category, another category that we decreased in our inventory. So we started January 2021 with 46 lipsticks. In June, I was up to 50, and now I am down to 45. I used up 3 lipsticks last year, so this product category decreased by 5. I still have way too many lipsticks, especially if you consider like all my lip categories together. We're like pushing, like 180, no, like put over 150 lip products in my collection. That's ridiculous, especially because we still haven't gotten to balm or lip liner. So we're probably pushing about 200 of the products in my collection are for your lips alone. I never thought of that until now. That's crazy. That's really bad. Okay, we've got work to do here. Lipstick, there's a few I would like to work on, get through. I probably will not finish that many lipsticks this year. I need to not purchase lipstick, and potentially I need to declutter some lipstick throughout my collection. For lip liner, in January, I could not find my lip liners. Last January, I could not find them. I had no idea where I had put them. June, I had found a few of them, and I had also purchased a few last year. So I was at 9 lip liners. And then when I was moving, I found the rest of my lip liner collection. So I have 19 lip liners currently in my collection. I used up 1 lip liner last year, and this is a product category that I just do not need to purchase any more lip liners because I don't wear it. I'm currently trying to include lip liners in my project pan to kind of motivate and encourage me to use a lip liner, but it's not something I naturally reach for, at least like currently in my makeup routine. So do not need to purchase any more lip liners this year. Hopefully I can work my way through 1 or 2 this year. That would be like, I'd be very proud of myself. So that'll be the goal. For lip balm, this is a category that never concerns me too much. I'm a Minnesota gal. I do have my shade closed right now, but if this was open, you'd see lots of snow. It's very cold. My lips are always dry. My lips are literally so disgustingly dry right now. I can't even describe to you. I've been working on healing these for a long time, but I cannot get them. No matter how hard I try, they won't heal. I have my humidifier going. I don't know what's going on. I'm drinking more water. I can't get these puppies to heal. Anyway, lip balm. January of last year, we had 6 lip balms, which I feel like I was missing some at that point in time because it seems very unlikely I would ever let my lip balm collection get down to 6. In June, I had 12 lip balms, and now I have 13 lip balms. I did purchase the fresh, like, 6, came with like 6 lip balms in like a tin. So having 6, but then when I look at this, it looks like I only used up 3 lip balms last year. So I'm like really confused about these numbers. And that's where like in 2022, I want to get it together so I know why my numbers are looking the way they are. Whereas this, I look at it, I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me. But I'm not concerned about 13 lip balms. I have a ton, like basically every lip balm in my collection is currently like being actively used, and I feel like I'll have some lip balm empties here in the very near future. So not too worried about this category. Eyeliner is another category that just confuses me, and I don't know where we've gotten to where we are. But in January, I had 31 eyeliners. In June, I had 39 eyeliners, and now I have 43 eyeliners, but I don't feel like I've purchased any eyeliner. So I don't know where these eyeliners are coming from. I used 7 liners last year. I got really into doing tight line with a liquid, like a black liquid liner. So I used up quite a few eyeliner. I used up quite a few eyeliners last year. 7 feels good. And I feel like I have a decent range of color within those 43 eyeliners. But when you look at like the total number of my makeup inventory, like when we get to the total number of products in my collection, and then I look at like 43, like this is a huge, not a huge chunk, but this is like a significant chunk of my makeup collection. And granted, it doesn't take up a lot of space, but I probably don't need 43 eyeliners. So maybe this is another category that I should be on a pretty strict low/no buy. Like it would have to be like I would have to purchase a color that I don't yet have in my collection. I feel like that's what we would need to do for the eyeliner category. I'm gonna have to take notes as I'm editing this about like rule additions for my next makeup rehab update. The mascara category. This is a category that just like never, ever decreases. So in January, we had 24 eyeliners. June, we were down to 20 mascaras. We had 24 mascaras. In June, we were down to 22 mascaras, and now I'm back up to 25 mascaras. Now I will say, again, I got some Sephora favorite sets and got like mascara through that, and I feel like you just always get free mascara through everything. But I used 16 mascaras last year, and I went from 24 at the beginning of the year to now 20, like I increased. Used up 16 mascaras, and granted, when I say used up, it means I had 16 mascaras open for 3 to 4 months last year, and I just always call it quits and call it an empty. That's the way I run it over here. You can do it your way. But if that tells you anything, it tells you, like, I feel like free mascara is like constantly in the works. So that's where we're at with that. For duos and trios, this is the way that I've kind of been doing my makeup inventory as of June. So if I have a duo or a trio that has like a blush and a highlight or a bronzer and whatever it might be, then I count that as a duo or trio. And I had 4 in my collection in June when I started tracking it this way, and now I have 4 duos and trios still. So this is a category where I feel like with duos and trios, I just really, similar to face palettes, I just don't reach for that type of product all that often. So I really want to be very intentional about any duo, trio, or face palettes that I'm bringing into my collection, just knowing that it takes me some extra motivation to use those products, and I don't necessarily want to increase my makeup collection with these products, if that makes any sense. And then for the face palette category, in June of last year, I don't have the January number. I don't know why I missed my face palette category, but in June of last year, I had 8 face palettes, and now I am at 10 face palettes. I did buy the Jaclyn Hill Bougie Rouge face palette towards the end of the year, and I think the other one is the NARS Summer Solstice, a NARS palette that I purchased at some point between June and the end of last year. So this category went up by 2 as well. So that being said, I'm like out of breath and winded. I need to like make more tea because my throat is like meh. Oh, I thought I had like, I feel like my self-tan is like super splotchy on my neck, and also I think my face might be lighter than my neck. What's new? It's the old Steph. I know I've been very MIA the last 3 months, but like nah, not a whole lot's changed in terms of my self-tanning. Anyway, okay, so when I count up every single category and add them together, I come to a total of 795 products. That is including my eyeshadow singles as well as my eyeshadow palettes. If you take my 153 eyeshadow palettes away, we get down to 642 products, but that still includes my eyeshadow singles. And the number I really want to heavily like focus on and hone in on is the number I get without my eyeshadow singles and my eyeshadow palettes, which is 527 makeup products in my collection. That is crazy. And over the course of the last few months, my mindset around makeup and bringing makeup into my collection and my means to bring more makeup into my collection has changed pretty significantly. Obviously I still love makeup and I'm still gonna buy makeup, but just I'll be needing to reel it in a little bit. So I have my makeup rehab series that will be coming up. Again, I think that video will go up tomorrow, where I give myself a beauty bank for the year of products that I'm allowed to bring into my collection. I'll, spoiler alert, give you that beauty bank is going to start at 30. It was at 36 last year, but I'm starting this year at 30. Or did I decide 25? I think I decided 30. I filmed this last night, so I want to say 30. Anyway, so meaning my makeup collection could increase by 30 products, and I would still count that as a win in my books. Now I'm looking at this and I'm like, 30 products would mean I would be at 557 if I didn't declutter anything. And that's not including if I bring PR in. But I would like to get this number down below 500. That's my goal. I'm putting it out there. My goal is to get this number down below 500. And we're slowly gonna work on this throughout the year. I'm not saying by my next quarterly update we're gonna be below 500, but by the end of 2022, I want to be at 500 or less in this, where we're at. whether it be through project planning, decluttering, whatever it might be. We're gonna get there. If you want to track my progress monthly in that, aspect, make sure to check out my makeup rehab series, again, that I keep self-promoing. But other than that, that's going to wrap it up for today's makeup inventory. Hope that you guys enjoyed. Would love to know, do you do a makeup inventory, and what are your best and worst categories? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video, for supporting my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.